Hey GIS class, I'm going to teach you how you can map some layers or create a map from some layers. By now you know how to search your catalog or your folders, and I also taught you how you can add some folders to your list of favorites. Here I'm going to my parent folder, fall to 2021, and I'm going to my layers, and I have a few layers here, and I'm going to add my block groups, drag and drop here, and I can also go to and add this community district, but I'm going to also show you a different way of adding layers, and that is if you go to the map tab, and then you have this add data key. I'm going to click on it. It will take you to your map browser, and here again you have you can see your disk, and you can also, I'm not sure if you can see the folders if you connect it to a specific folder. I think you can also see your favorites, probably not. I'm going to just find my let's say teaching folder. There it is, and GIS intro, fall 2021, and under layers I'm going to NYC and community districts, and that's my folder, and I'm going to add this folder too. Now I have two layers, and I'm going to change the symbology of these layers very quickly and show you a few things. One thing is I'm going to create a symbology for this community district layer. First I'm going to change the name. If you click on that text, you can now change the name of this, and saying that community district. There you go. And that change of name does not change the name of the layer on your machine. So I'm going to actually show you that my community district layer here, if I even refresh, that's the same. This is just a label that we are going to use in our map. Even, for example, block group 2012 and 16, I can have an appropriate naming here. This is the only place that you can violate the rules of naming for our class, and because these are just some labels, and they won't be part of an analysis. And now I'm going to click on this symbology, and you can see the symbology tab on the right and open. You can select some of these presets, or as you can see, this is the gallery. If one of these forms or one of these themes are interesting for you, you can select it. For example, this one, black outline with 1 point of outline, or this one is black outline with 2 points of outline. So this is slightly thicker than this one. Even if that's not really appropriate, and you think you want something different or slightly different color, for example, select that one and then go to properties. And in properties, now you can say the infill color, the color of inside the polygon. This in this case is no color because they are empty. And then outline color, for example, we can go and change them to something maybe brown color. And then this is the outline width, and you can have a different color for a different weight, for example 1.5 point as the thickness, and you can see how that is changing here. I'm going to apply, and now we have that symbology here. I'm going to do the same thing, formatting, yes, here, and I'm going to apply different, again, to symbology. Again, we can go to the gallery and select something here specific if you want, or I can just say I want a slightly for example let's go with some yellow color. The outline color, I'm going to choose a dark outline color, but very thin. So I'm going to select 0.2, and that's our blocks. As you can see, we cannot see the background of the block group. If you click on the layer, you can see some of these functions, some of these tabs will be activated just as some options for that specific layer. For example, now I can go to appearance, labeling, or data. Those tabs will be specifically related to whatever we do for that layer. I'm going to appearance, and I'm going to say I want the transparency of let's say 40% transparency, and as you can see, you can see through that a little bit. So even if we go maybe with 70%, so that's better. You can see the background, and still you can see the outline color fairly well. That shows the structure of the city, and you have some other functions here that you need to start exploring. Layer blending, how if you have two different colors, how you want them to blend in terms of colors, and if they are transparent, and inbound, outbound. If you just hover your mouse on that, you can see that there's a small tiny help box that shows up, and you can identify, and you can see what the function of that icon is. For now, I think we are good. Let's see if the community districts have some ID. I'm going to, if they, so we have the borough code, which is the community district ID in this case. I'm going to close this. Let's just use them as the labels for these brown polygons. I'm going to click on that layer. Now these functions will be about that layer, and I'm going to the labeling and saying that I want to label this, and I'm going to use this so label feature in this class. So that's that. Basically that's the class that we have, and then I'm going to say borrow code, and then I'm going to say maybe slightly larger. You can select the font, and then you can select the label position because it is the polygon. I'm just going to just saying that put that inside, just simple labeling, and let's just say, and after that I'm going to say this key enable labeling. There you go. Now we have the labels. Maybe they are slightly large, so let's go 10, and you can see more polygons. I have even 9, could be fine. So that's good. So that is how you can add labels to polygons from a field or a properties or an attribute in your data. We change the colors and basic symbology, and now I'm going to say I want to put this map in a layout. For that, you need to go to layout. I'm going to say insert, create a new layout. Here you can also say the size of your paper, what size paper you are going to use. I'm going to have 8.5 by 11 inches as my layout size. And now I have a layout window next to the map window. This means you can have multiple map windows and you can have multiple layout windows. We should learn how to use this. In the layout window, I can add any of the maps. I'm going, because we have only map 2 now, I'm going to show how we can add a box for map 2. If you go to map frame, here you can see the available maps in your project. I had a map 1 and I deleted that, but it's still here, so you may have problems, some issues similar to this later, but be careful about the numbering here. Map 2 is my map here, and I'm going to say I want a default extent of my map 2. Let's have the map 2 and say put it here in my paper. So map 2 is here. Of course we need to zoom in, and for that you can just simply say right click on this and say zoom in. Let me say zoom to layer, and now you have your map here. There are a few things that we need to learn here, and those are very important. One thing is when you are in the layout window, some of these functions will be different for you. For example, we can go to the layout menu or layout tab, and you can see that you have these functions. Zoom here is slightly different. Why? If I use zoom, it is now zooming the paper for me, not the contents, not the layer itself. Basically, if you have your paper, it seems just you are looking at the paper from a closer distance. So this zoom in and zoom extent, these are only for the papers. And if you have other elements, using this this function, you can add other elements here. I can, for example, change the orientation of my paper. Things that you can add rulers. You can see the rulers. You can add guides. For example, I can say, let me just check a guide here. If you right click on this thing, you can say add guide. Okay, so now I can move that guide here. So that will help me with putting my map, and as you can see, it has a little bit of snap, so that helps to put the map in the right place. And then you can add another guide here, and you can put your map here. This will help you if you have very precise measuring for the paper, like margins and things like that. You can still have very precise positioning. But there's another thing. If I use these functions here, as you can see, I can change my map. And this full extent is not full extent of the paper, is the full extent of the entire map. But how can I go back to where I was? This would be a little bit confusing for many people. And that's, you need to activate the map frame. Here we are in the layout frame, and the map frame is not active. But if I say activate the map frame, and as you can see that we are back to the map ribbon or tab here, and now I can zoom in with the scroller of my mouse, and you can also use for example shift key to have a window zoom. Here it is. Depending on the size of your paper, you might think that the size of the labels are small or large. That's up to you. But again, if I go to the layout tab here, you can see that we don't have much functions here, and all these functions are gone because we are in the map view. And then I can go back to this layer because some of the labels are not showing up, and I can go to labeling. I'm trying to familiarize you with some of these functions and how to navigate the tabs. I'm going to make the labels smaller, maybe even slightly more smaller, 6 point. Okay, and now I want to see what is 1-to-1 scale of my map, because this is a paper. As you can see, this is a paper. So this would be 1-to-1 size. If you are done with the positioning of your map, you can close activation and you are back to the layout functions here again. This is good. I'm going to add another map frame to this paper. I'm going to say go to insert, or maybe it was in, go back here, where was that, insert, again, new map view, sorry, map frame. So new map frame from map number 2, and add that here. Let's say this place. And the same thing for this one. As you can see, we have two layouts, layout 1 and layout 1. We have one layout, but that layout has two map frames, layout 1, map frame 1, map frame, we can call it 2. So the map frame 1 is the new one. As if you notice, when I click on it, different frames becoming activated. This one is map 2, the first one, and this is map 1. I want to work on this one and say on this one, zoom to layer. Okay, now I have that, and I want to zoom again, going to the layout, activate that. Okay, now I can zoom to a specific district. Let's say we want to see things in this area, and then I'm going to say come out of activation, close activation, and now we have a zoom in for this location. So this is your map. Now we can have multiple map frames. If we had multiple mapping frames here, this is map 2. For example, if you have a map of another map with some other layers, then you could add layout frame or map frame in this layout from that one too. What do I mean by that? If, for example, this is map 2, I'm going to create a new map here. That's map 3, as you can see, and I can say go to my catalog. I'm bringing a different layer. Let's see what layers we have here. I'm going to rasters, the surface temperature of New York. Okay, I'm adding that to my map. Changing the color ramp there. Change the color ramp to something like a cool to hot. It would be nice to have the community district on this map too, right? So I'm going to my map 2 frame and saying that right click on it, copy this layer, go to map 3 and right click on map 3, or say paste here. So community district with the labels automatically comes here. That's great. Now I'm going to sorry, I did this before. So I'm going to say here, go to map frame from map 3, and the map 3 is added here. I'm going to say from map 3 insert my map 3 here, put it here, maybe even with the same extent. I'm going to just limit this extent. Okay, and activating this, I need to change the zoom on that. So go to layout, activate the layout of that, and let's use shift and zoom to zoom on the same area. Slightly more. Okay, that's good. It's a similar area for that area location, and I'm going to say go to layout, close activation. Perfect. So I have a big map of New York, two smaller maps for two different things from different maps, and now we are ready to finish our work in the layout. I am going to say insert here to the insert menu. When you want to add a north arrow, you need to know which map that north arrow will be for, because each of these maps technically can have different north orientation or scale. For that reason, I'm going to say add north arrow for this map. So I click on this map frame is activated, and now I'm saying that north arrow, add a north arrow for this map, put that over there. You can see it's a little bit tilted. That's because of projection that we're going to learn about that in the future. And I can click on this, add a north arrow for this one, and put that here. And you can see this is a straight up. The same for this one. If you are using multiple map frames, would be nice to add north arrow if they are different. If they are not different, you can maybe just have one here and put one in here, and that would be okay. The same thing about scale bar. I can add scale bar for this map. You can again have different defaults or different templates for scale bar depending on which one you like. You can put your scale bar here for this map because I selected that map. That's the scale bar for that map, and then I'm going to put a scale bar for this map. Okay, so that's how you can add different features of mapping. So every map has to have north arrow, scale bar, and a title. Here, using this, we can have a text, and I can add here, for example, NYC. You can add more specific text, and then you can change the properties of that text. If you right click on it, properties, and text symbol here, appearance will be for that 20. I can say apply. So that's the text title. You can add you can write anything here. You can also add some boxes like that if you want to separate things. That's a box. Again, you can right click on it, properties, and then you can go to the symbol here, appearance. You can see that box has no color inside, an outline color of 1. That's another thing. What else here? If you need to add a logo, for example, you can add picture. That would be a helpful tool to know. Drawing some polygons if you want to have different shapes on the map. And one thing that is also very important is the legend. Here, because we don't have many layers, I'm not going to add legend to all these maps, but this map would benefit from having a legend because there are color coded items here. I'm going to click on it, and then now that map is active, and I'm going to say give me the legend of that map, and put the legend here. Okay, so that's the legend. We can come back to the setting of the legend later, but the map now at least has a legend and title, scale bars, north arrows, and it is ready to be printed or exported. The way you can do those things, you can go to share. So here you have the option to print if you want to print it, or here you can say export layout, and I'm going to say you can export it to PDF, export it to JPEG. You have multiple settings here. Where are you saving your JPEG? I'm going to say where, and my folder is JS intro fall 2021, and that will be an image. So I'm going to save that in my images. I say NYC block groups. So that's JPEG. That will be location. The quality here, it is important to set the quality. I usually go with the high quality. DPI is the resolution. For a print, the minimum quality I would suggest is 200, but for PowerPoint slides, you can go to even 100. 300 is pretty good resolution. As you can see, the height and width, these are pixels, would be a large image. And for color depth, that's basically how much variation your printer can handle, would be good. So that's grayscale. This is true color, and I'm going to say export. Now this is being exported. You get some transformation warning, but that's fine. I'm going to teach those later. So the map is exported, and if I go to my parent folder here, fall 2021 images, you can see that you have a JPEG image. Always check your JPEG image to see if the weights of the lines or the line thicknesses, the labels are in good size. And if you think, for example, in this case, we probably would be better to have a slightly thinner boundary for my block groups. Let's just do it and see how that changes. And that is my map 1. In my map 1, I'm going to my map, and then to my block group, and symbology, properties, and that was 0.7. I'm going to say this should be 0.1, very thin. Apply. Okay. Go to layout and export again. Export on the same file. Export. I'm going to rewrite on it. Overwrite on it, sorry. Let's see what the result will be. That's completed. And now you can see we have a different map. The plot groups are pretty good. You might want them slightly stronger, but that's up to you again. And that change is applied on this one too. Basically we don't see them in this map, which might be fine because we can see the structure of the city still pretty well. This is the basic layouting, and it is a little bit complex, but if you practice more, you'll be more comfortable with it.